During this time of limited travel, increased isolation, and stressful media, we want to make the most of this time right here at home.
Let us be your escape from life's monotony. Allow yourself to indulge in your wildest travel fantasies and discover the constant beauty of this ever-changing world with the Wanderlusting Wives podcast. On today's episode, from rides to snacks, we're going to have a battle of the Disney World nerds with some very special guests.
Welcome to the Wanderlusting Wives podcast. We're your navigators, Allison
And Regan. And this week we have a very unique episode coming to you as part of our two-part Disney World series. So if you're looking for an in-depth analysis of planning a trip to Disney World or some tips that you want to look for, go ahead and listen to our last episode, part 1 of this series. But today we have some very special guests joining us for a battle of the Disney nerds. We're going to rank all things Disney World and see which rides, parks, and just overall magical Disney touches come out on top so that you can get the scoop on the must-dos for your future trip.
And in joining us today, we will be having some of Regan's siblings, and we have Brendan and Erin joining us. So we have our icebreaker for today. Of course, it's Disney related. So our icebreaker is, what is your favorite Disney song? Regan, do you want to start us off with this one?
I would love to start with this one because Disney music is what I work to most days when I'm working from home. I put on a Disney playlist and I'm good to go. I think, though, that my favorite Disney song is I Won't Say I'm in Love from Hercules. It's just so good. And last episode, you learned that if I could be a Disney character, I would be Meg from Hercules. So it just works out. Great song. If you haven't heard it, go give it a listen.
Yeah, I would have to say that's a really great one. I'm going kind of the stereotypical Disney favorite. Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Just an absolute classic movie and a song. So that is my favorite as of right now. Brendan, how about you? What is your favorite Disney song?
You know, I'm gonna throw a dark horse into the race. I think the bravest that Disney has gotten in one of their movies is The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I know that's not a popular pick all the time, but I'm going to go with the most emotionally intense villain song, which is Heaven's Light Hellfire from Hunchback of Notre Dame.
I like it. An underrated movie for sure.
Big time.
And Erin, how about you? What is your favorite?
That's How You Know from Enchanted. Yeah, we're going to go with that. That's just a really fun song.
Yeah, can't really go wrong with most Disney songs, we'll say. So I guess we should just jump right into our questions here. So our first one, starting off strong here, let's rank the parks. Your favorite at the top, least favorite at the bottom, and we can start with you, Regan.
Okay, so these have changed a lot for me over several years as I've gotten older. Certain parks get more important, but today, in this moment, I believe that my starting at the top order would be Animal Kingdom, Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and Epcot would be at the bottom. I know there's a lot of debate in this family about Epcot, so we'll just move this right along to Brendan.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. I actually, my top one is also Animal Kingdom. It's grown on me over the years for sure, with Hollywood Studios coming in next, with Magic Kingdom, then followed by Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon, Disney Quest, the NBA experience that I never got to do, any one of the pools at any one of the hotels. Did I miss? Oh, Epcot after that.
The famous line in our family has been, of the 4 Disney parks, Brendan ranks Epcot 5th. So figure that one out. Erin, what about you after that lovely explanation?
I agree with that ranking. The same. I'll accept that, extra stuff in between there, but yeah, the same order otherwise. So.
All right, I have a different order. So, okay, so I have Hollywood Studios first, then I have Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, and then Epcot. So I'm in agreement with Epcot being at the bottom. Just our couple top ones are a little bit different, but.
All right, so we have ranked the 4 Disney parks. Now, within those parks, there are lots of rides and attractions, but we're going to start with rides. So let's start with our top 3 favorite rides in all of Disney World. Brendan, you want to start us off on this one?
Man, that's so hard. Well, I think I might have a couple overlaps with some other people, but my number one for the longest time was Dinosaur in Animal Kingdom. I think it's incredibly creative. It's the same ride system that they use on Indiana Jones out in Disneyland. But it is a horrifying ride. But this past time that we were there, it was outranked almost immediately by Avatar Flight of Passage, which is one of the most immersive ride experiences that Disney has to offer. So Avatar Flight of Passage is my number one, followed by Dinosaur. And then my third, that's really tricky because I love so many, but there's one that holds this really strange, special place in my heart. And it's the Winnie the Pooh Dark Ride. I love that ride so much. And my wife and I just had a baby, our little son Liam, and I cannot wait to take him on the Winnie the Pooh Dark Ride. So it's going to get even more special over time, I'm sure. So those will be my top 3.
Erin, you have kiddos too, so I wonder how that plays into your top 3.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it does. No. Though my top 3 would be, I can't Tower of Terror is always going to be number 1. There's just no way. It's just the nostalgic thrill of it, I think, is just for me. It'll never be displaced. Although Avatar comes really close. And I really just like Expedition Everest. We rode that like 4 times in a row last time we were there at night, and it was just really fun.
I will go next. I haven't been to Disney in like 6 years, so I haven't been on some of the newer, better rides that you all speak of. So I'm going to hit some classics here. Rock and Roller Coaster, which Regan's probably shocked to hear that one because I was petrified to go on it when I went with her, and it ends up being one of my favorites. And then Space Mountain, and followed by Toy Story Mania.
Those are some good ones. See, you can't go wrong with the classics though. That's the thing. Is like those classic rides in Disney, they can do all the new rides that they want. Those are still going to be the solid core of what Disney has to offer. It's great. So I think for my 3 favorites, I'm going to have to go with Erin on this one. For Tower of Terror, I'm a thrill seeker. I love it. It's like I love the moment when they take you all the way up to the top and they don't stop you at the top. They just kind of let you hang before dropping you again. And I love the like butterfly feeling in the stomach. So I'm all about the Tower of Terror. I will say I do love Flight of Passage, but I want to touch on Rise of the Resistance, which is the newest ride. It was like a groundbreaking ride in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and Disney World and Disneyland. It's just incredible. If you are a Star Wars fan, I'm not going to say anything more because there are lots of spoilers that I could say, but it is a must do. It's incredible. And then I do love the safari in Animal Kingdom. I love seeing the animals. And if you go really early in the morning, they're all out and they're eating, and it's a good time. It's a lot of fun. So those would be my 3.
And I believe we have a couple more people to check in with on this question. We're going to hear from my niece and nephews about what their favorite rides are. So Kenley, what are your 3 favorite Disney rides?
I like Rock and Roller Coaster, Expedition Everest, and Space Mountain.
Those are awesome rides. Now, Ian, what are your 3 favorite rides?
My favorite are Expedition Everest, Space Mountain, and Buzz Lightyear.
Wow, so the 2 of you have a couple rides in common. And okay, so now last but not least, Jack, what is your favorite ride at Disney World?
Barnstormer.
Barnstormer, that's a good one.
So we covered the rides and we covered a lot there. Disney is also really unique in the way that it's not just a theme park. You have the rides, but you also have things that are attractions. You have shows and things like that are more experiences rather than just you wait in a line to get strapped into a ride and then you get off. So let's go on to the question of what is your favorite show in Disney World? It can be a current show or it can be a past show. So Brendan, I'll let you start this one off.
My favorite show of all time in Disney World, it goes back to before Finding Nemo the musical, lived in Animal Kingdom. The Tarzan Rocks show that they put on, yeah, it was goofy and cheesy because it was like half rock show, half acrobatics show, half like skate park experience. And I don't really know how else to, it was a very odd mix of things, but it was a blast. And their theater in the wild, or whatever they called it, just like lit up every performance. And so, yeah, even though there's a lot of great shows there, my heart still is with Tarzan Rocks.
So Erin, what about you?
I really like the Finding Nemo show. First time we saw that, it's just really cute, and the music is fun and it's colorful.
I am going to switch gears here and go with Lion King, kind of go along with my favorite song here. I really, really remember, like, this was like just a core memory for me as going to Disney my first time at like 5 years old, is seeing the Lion King. And that's just like something I feel like I'm never going to forget. It was just an amazing experience, especially as a child. And I'm sure it would be again if I, get to go again sometime as an adult.
My favorite show, I love what Animal Kingdom has recently added as their Tree of Life Awakenings. There are these incredible shows that are like projections that are fit specifically to the Tree of Life, which is the symbol of Animal Kingdom. And it's lit up, and then the music starts, and suddenly one of the animals on the tree comes to life, and there's this whole story on the Tree of Life. And I just think they're beautiful. So I think that really is my favorite show at this point. I love to watch that.
So moving on to our next question here, what is your favorite ride at night? Regan, do you want to get us started?
Yes, it's definitely different from my daytime favorite ride. I love Slinky Dog Dash at night. Toy Story Land at night is beautiful. It's so cute with these string lights and everything. And riding that ride, you get a great view of the Tower of Terror. It's just super cute. So that's my favorite.
All right. No, that was definitely in consideration. Slinky Dog Dash, the whole land is awesome at night, but it's not my favorite of the coasters in the parks. But Big Thunder Mountain Railroad at night there's something really special about it, because all of the theming that was put into that ride is not always as noticeable during the day. When everything's lit up at night, it really brings out some of those features that you wouldn't see during the day. So like there's a burning building, and you get to see all the animals that are hanging around the track. It's a really different experience at night. So kind of like with Slinky Dog Dash, it kind of like morphs into a different ride. So yeah, I'm going to go with Big Thunder Mountain Railroad.
And I agree with Slinky Dog. Definitely super cute at night.
I agree with Everest.
I heard Mr. Ian in there come in with Everest, and that is definitely a great one at night also.
I'm going to have to go with Brendan on this one. I also think Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is an awesome one to see at night. It's really cool during the day too, but even better at night, I think.
Okay, so staying with the nighttime theme, now we're going to our nighttime show, our favorite nighttime show of all time. This can be current, or it can be something from the past. So Brendan, we'll start with you on this one.
There's a much more traditional show that I'm sure will be brought up in a moment, but one of the things that you guys know Disney is famous for is their like jaw-dropping fireworks displays. And there has never been a fireworks show, maybe in the world. No, that's a lot. There has never been a Disney fireworks show that will, and I don't think there ever will be one better than Illuminations at Epcot. Their nighttime fireworks show around the lagoon there, or the lake, or whatever they call it, with all the buildings from the countries lighting up, and the spectacular soundtrack culminating in like a sky quite literally filled with fireworks. I don't think there will ever be a better one. So Epcot's show, it's now gone, and I will mourn its loss for the rest of my life. But glad I got to see it a bunch of times. Illuminations at Epcot.
It's hard to really say, but I think for me, I would go with Fantasmic, just because it's got all of the Disney vibes of the characters showing up, and the music woven in throughout, and the soundtrack is just just like Illuminations though is a really good soundtrack. So for me, it's got the music just has to be great. And those two shows, Illuminations and Fantasmic, definitely have the music piece going for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the classic here. But the fireworks at Magic Kingdom at night are always just absolutely fantastic. And just after like a long day or just hot and sweaty, but you just gotta stick it out and just stay and watch the fireworks. And it's just an incredible time, I think, just to cap off an awesome day at Disney.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. And there's nothing more magical to me than seeing fireworks over the castle. So I'm going to go with Happily Ever After, which was Magic Kingdom's show for only a few years, honestly. I don't even know if it was years, it was maybe months. It had a really fun song, and it was the first time that they did the projections on the castle. And so, similar to Fantasmic, you got all of these projections from various Disney movies, and it was just so magical. I still cry every time I listen to that song, so you can tell that it's had quite the effect on me. So, what is your favorite snack to get in Disney World?
Okay, listen. Everyone goes and tries to get like, it's all about like churros and Mickey shaped things. And maybe you'll mention those because those are real popular and they're delicious. But mine's a little more basic and weird. They make killer fruit tarts. I know that sounds strange to like go to Disney World and get a fruit tart, but no joke. Over at the Boardwalk Resort, you can go. I don't even know what the little bakery is down there. They still have their fruit tarts there, and they are phenomenal. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with the fruit tarts at the Boardwalk.
My favorite, this past time we were there, we discovered these giant donuts that are the size of an adult's face, maybe larger, I don't know, that you can get at the little Joffrey's coffee stands. It easily could be shared with all of my kids if I wanted to share, which sometimes I did, and sometimes I didn't. So.
I love that.
I'm going with the churros. So Brendan, yes, you were right. Someone was gonna mention it, and that is gonna be me. I'm a sucker for churros. Even not in Disney, I am all for churros.
And if you're there for the 50th anniversary, they do have some special churros, so check those out. My favorite snack is called the Tropical Serenade, and it is amazing. You can get it at Aloha Isle in Magic Kingdom, which is in Adventureland. It's coconut soft serve with pineapple orange guava juice, which is amazing, with a pineapple upside down cake pop. And it is just so delicious. It's a version of Dole Whip. Honestly, I love any Dole Whip that they have, but this is incredible. So while you're staying at Disney, they're bringing it back slowly but surely, are the character greetings. So you can meet your favorite characters throughout the parks. So I want to know if any of you have a funny character greeting story from any point in your life.
Okay, so I don't really have like a funny story, but when I went to Disney with Regan, I had this like weird obsession with Eeyore. I don't know, kind of moved on from that now. But I remember like we were looking near and far for him. And eventually we finally found him in Animal Kingdom, and that was just really exciting. And I got a picture hugging him, whatever. So not really like a funny story, but it was exciting because we were looking everywhere for him and we finally found him. So that was exciting.
I'm pretty sure you bought 2 Eeyore stuffed animals that year too. You were like obsessed.
I might have.
Now, as a kid, I think I was probably, I don't know, 8 or 9 years old, maybe slightly older than that. For whatever reason, Mickey was walking through Magic Kingdom over toward his house in, Toontown? And he just like grabbed my hand and we just walked across Magic Kingdom. And I was just like, I'm a kid who's in love with Disney, in love with Mickey Mouse, and just like, oh my gosh, Mickey grabbed my hand. And now we walked all the way across the park, and I just like paraded along holding Mickey's hand all the way to his house. It was surreal as a kid, because, as an adult, you look at it, you're like, okay, well, you got to walk with Mickey Mouse. But as a kid, you're like, no. I got to walk with Mickey Mouse. And so it was surreal. It was magical. It was really cool. So yeah, that would be mine.
And I don't know if I have a funny one, probably. But I would say one of the things that stands out is a couple of times ago when we went and we all had our whole extended family had matching dwarf t-shirts, and we all had our own dwarf names, and we got a picture with Snow White. And so that was just a fun memory, I think, with a character.
That was really fun. And for all of you wondering, my dwarf name was Sassy. So there, you learned something about one of your navigators today. And then my favorite character greeting story that I have, there are a lot. But one of my favorites, I was meeting Goofy one time, and he's Goofy. And all of a sudden I turned around and Goofy was on one knee proposing to me. And it was the sweetest memory. And then he tried to walk out of the building with me. So I may or may not be engaged to Goofy, even though I'm married to my husband. I don't know. Who knows? I'll have to go back and ask him again someday. But okay, so I think for our last question here, we're going to wrap up with a little bit of a creative question. So forward thinking to what you want to see in Disney World. If you could create the next big ride for Disney World, what would it be? Brendan, I have a feeling you have lots of thoughts on this, so let's start with you.
Yeah, so mine is, this was the one that when you sent me the list of questions, I was like, okay, this is the one I'm going to have the most fun with for sure. And I, as much of a Disney fan as I am, Disney purchased Fox Entertainment. And so my answer actually isn't a Disney ride at all. But it's a combination of two things that no longer exist in Disney World. First of all, for those of you who have gotten a chance to get on Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad or whatever that thing is called, I haven't gotten a chance to get on it yet. It used to be the Great Movie Ride. And in the Great Movie Ride, you got a chance to pass through all of these different classic films. You go through Casablanca and you go through The Wizard of Oz, but also in one jarring turn for children, you go through the Nostromo from Alien. And it was really surprising that they put something so horrific in one of their rides, considering it is a classic, very scary horror film. But a long time ago, Magic Kingdom also took a big gamble on a ride called Alien Encounter, where you essentially sat in a completely dark room and an alien broke out of containment and terrorized the audience. It was intense beyond belief. And so now that Disney officially owns the property, they could put a proper Alien ride. I think Hollywood Studios is ripe for an Alien dark ride. I think it is something that would draw people in from all over the place, giving them an experience that you just wouldn't get anywhere else, fusing properties that they've already used. As much as I love Disney, I'm going with the Alien experience.
Yeah, no, thanks. I would say that Disney needs more representation of the Emperor's New Groove. So I don't really care what it is, but just make a ride with Emperor's New Groove, and I'll ride it. I don't care what it is or how bad it is. If Yzma's there, I'm there.
So since I'm a second grade teacher, my life is consumed with Encanto. So that was the first thing that came to my mind. So it's just a really, really awesome movie that just shows different cultures and, women being strong and just a bunch of different awesome things in the movie. So I think they could really make a cool ride out of it. I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but some kind of immersive experience that has to do with Encanto, I think would be fantastic. And it's so colorful and yeah. Screams Disney to me.
I love it. So I think that another underused, underrated property that Disney has is Wreck-It Ralph. I want them to make some sort of coaster that brings Sugar Rush from Wreck-It Ralph into a ride. So whether that's like Rock and Roller Coaster, I think it's time for a redo, like revamp the whole thing. You could make it faster, you could make it longer with a portion that goes outside with show buildings that kind of brings in some audio animatronics or something. I just really think that they take Rock and Roller Coaster, theme it to be Sugar Rush from Wreck-It Ralph, and you have an awesome coaster And the Sugar Rush theme song is super fun. So I just think that would be awesome to see happen. So I think that kind of wraps up our episode for today. So thank you, Erin and Brendan, for coming and joining us for this conversation. We had a ton of fun. Is there anything else that you want to add to this before we wrap up?
No, thanks for letting us come on. It's fun to come geek about Disney stuff with some other Disney geeks.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. We had a ton of fun hanging out with you today. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks for tuning in to the Wanderlusting Wives podcast. Come escape with us again next Tuesday morning. Give us a subscribe and a follow on all of our social media and wherever you listen to your podcasts. And until we chat next week, wander on.